Mathematics for Human Flourishing is a book that I believe every parent and teacher needs to check out. The reason why this is important is because it's written by a mathematics professor who has a passion of using mathematics as a tool. I mean, of course, he loves mathematics, but he's also using it as a tool to encourage people. He's showing how math connects to a lot of human experience, right? So he got a letter from an inmate who had started studying mathematics at a prison. And he communicated with this inmate back and forth, and he shared some of those pieces in his book. Dr. Francis Su gives us a solid base for mathematics and mathematical reasoning, and I'm going to try and break down his book on my channel. I believe every parent and teacher needs to read this book. When you don't understand the nature of mathematics, it's going to affect how you learn it, and if you learn it well, and if you go far in it. There's, of course, a book called Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck that deals with this issue of fixed mindset versus growth mindset. We need to think about mathematics with the right context. See, math is beautiful. Math is like music in the sense that, I mean, music is beautiful as well, right? But how many people have you met who say, I hate music? Like, you don't hear that often, right? So the problem with mathematics sometimes is how it's taught, how it's perceived, what people think of, like what it even is. So Mathematics for Human Flourishing will give you a solid base to help your child flourish in mathematics. It will help you learn how to relate to your children, when they talk about the challenges they're facing in mathematics. For teachers, this will help you to realize that the way you talk about mathematics really matters. Maybe watching out and not making it look like math is just a bunch of, rote memorization without any connections to reality. Let me give you one practical example that I talked about in my book, Tools for Mastering Mathematics, but that he talked about too in one of his chapters. When you think about playing a sport, right? I use this analogy. I tell people, what skill in volleyball do you take with you? Like when you say you play volleyball, what skills do you take from volleyball and use off the court, right? Do you go around serving a volleyball every day? No, you don't do that outside of the volleyball court. But there are lessons that you learn while you play volleyball that play a huge role in life. For example, teamwork, right? Discipline. And this applies to many sports, right? We play the sport, we enjoy the sport, but are we thinking about things that we're learning from the activity that transfer over to real life, right? Mathematics is that way in that regard, in some ways, right? Math is interesting because there's a practical daily use that you and I know, right? You go to the store, you need to know decimals and addition and all that, except if you're a billionaire, then I guess you could just take all the stuff you need and, just tell them to charge your card without even looking, right? I'm kidding. You could be a millionaire and do that too. But the point is, mathematics has practical applications, yes, but there are some topics that you might not see the usefulness of right now, but they're teaching you how to think mathematically. We need to learn how to think mathematically. That's what it's about. Also, mathematical thinking and reasoning is critical, right, for progress. I want to help people to learn how to think better mathematically. My Counting to Calculus channel is going to have videos from basic math all the way to calculus. And everybody can learn math and the concepts, but they should also learn how to think mathematically, like pattern recognition. Let me give you an example of what happened recently. I went to the airport one time. I flew into a city, and we got off the plane, and people were trying to look at their boarding pass and find out what time their plane was going to be taking off, right? This is a busy airport in Germany. And what was interesting is I saw the pattern that the boarding pass had your boarding time on it, not the time your flight would take off. So you had to add 50 minutes to your boarding pass in order to see the time that was being displayed on the screen. So I figured out what I needed to do. And there was a lady, an older lady who needed help, and I was able to show her. And then another guy came by and he needed help, and I showed him, and another person. But what I was using was mathematical thinking. Pattern recognition. I had seen the pattern of boarding time and departure time. I had seen the pattern of the board showing up in chronological order. I had seen certain patterns, and I used that, and I was able to help other people. Mathematical reasoning and logical thinking is very important. We need to teach people how to think mathematically. So if you want to learn how to think mathematically, and if you want to learn mathematics for human flourishing, then subscribe to my channel where I'll be talking more about this. I also plan to do summer math programs, teaching students basic math all the way to calculus. So reach out to me if you have any questions on mathematical reasoning and logic. Look forward to working with you in helping your children to flourish, helping your teachers to flourish, helping your schools to flourish. I'm looking for opportunities to provide professional development and teacher training to schools around the US and around the world using books like Mathematics for Human Flourishing. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care and have a blessed day.